Sanjay, thank you very much for that, that kind introduction. And Deputy Ambassador, I appreciated your remarks. Let me make a couple of observations about the relationship between India and Afghanistan and the United States and the security partnership, and broader than that, the partnership that we hope for the long term will help bring some measure of stability and economic growth to the whole region. My friends, we're all engaged in this together, and we very much appreciate the role that India has played with respect to the construction of the roads, with respect to the assistance on the training of the police, with respect to all of the economic development. And in October of 2 years ago, you had the signing of the pact between India and Afghanistan that focused on everything from cultural exchanges to the economic development to the cooperation on trade. All of this is important in terms of bringing about stability. And the other aspect of this is that we have seen how important economic development is, and we are appreciative of the role that India plays in economic development in this region, and the patience that the international community has played all along, because we all recognize, as the Deputy Ambassador has said, that this aspect of transfer from the international coalition that is providing security to the Afghan military forces providing their own security, as well as this transition to a fair and free election, is enormously important. The survey that we saw showed that 87% of the people in Afghanistan want and expect to have a fair and free election to choose their own leadership. And we are going to have to work together, the international community, with election observers, with the U.S. and Europe and India and other countries in the region, all enforcing the rules to make certain that there are fair elections and that the outcome is the one desired by the people of Afghanistan. But as we move forward, we also recognize that we have a certain challenge in this region, and I will identify that challenge as a challenge for India, for Pakistan, and for Afghanistan, and for the rest of Central Asia and South Asia. And that is the $100 million that last year, according to a diplomatic cable, was transferred from the Gulf states into Punjab, into Pakistan. And in this particular case, what was it being used for? It's the use of that money in a particular type of madrasa. There are many madrasas, but there are 600 madrasas. There are 600 Deobandi schools. These 600 particular schools are the ones that churn out the young graduates who are going to carry out the next series of attacks in Afghanistan and in southern Russia and in India and in Pakistan. And it's the failure to close these 600 schools that has helped guarantee that the 300 public schools in the Swat Valley, which were once operational, are now shuttered, are now closed. That some of the schools that I have visited up in the northwest frontier, one in particular, a girls' school, is now blown up. It is the graduates of these schools who are absolutely committed to a goal of destabilizing the existing structure in Pakistan until they achieve their ultimate objective, as well as carrying out terror attacks in neighboring Afghanistan, as well as carrying out attacks like the one in Mumbai. I, in the past, have twice visited the Taj and stayed at the Taj, and I can share with you, I went there right after the attacks and talked with the head of counterterrorism in India. I can share with you that until those 7 individuals who helped plan, organize, that attack, who were radicalized themselves in one of these campuses, these particular members from the LET, Lashkar-e-Taiba, until they are brought to justice, it is going to be very hard for the international community to believe that stability is coming to the region. Until those 600 schools that on numerous occasions I and others have asked to be closed down, until they are closed down inside Pakistan, as long as there's a ready and willing recipient for the $100 billion a year that comes from the Gulf states, from certain factions in the Gulf states, to try to move along this upheaval, there is going to continue to be instability. And it's for these reasons that the international community is engaged. It's for these reasons that we are all cooperating on counterterrorism, because we realize what that cost is going to be. And we realize how that conflict is bleeding into other communities across South and Central Asia. And so that also is a reason why we cooperate with respect to counterterrorism inside Afghanistan. We have seen the consequences. I saw it with my own eyes. I saw the soccer stadium where women were slaughtered. For many years I was on the board of a school in Afghanistan for young children who were orphaned. And I talked to the headmaster of that school, and he rolled up his pant legs and showed me the scars on his ankles and feet. They had caught him teaching children. Beyond that, they caught him teaching girls how to read and write. And he paid a price for that in terms of the torture that he faced. But he was one of many. I mean, the consequences to women subjugated under that radical system, and seeing the soccer stadium where women were once executed, publicly executed, is a reminder of what the goals of the Taliban were. And it's a reminder to us right now, in terms of these negotiations, do not forget the nature of who you're dealing with on the other side of the table. Do not allow yourself to forget the history of what they did to the culture, the destruction of the paintings, the destruction of the Buddhist statuary, the attempted destruction of a civilization, going through the hospital and seeing the incubators that the Taliban had thrown out because they had made a determination that that was not the way to bring a child into the world. If a child needed an incubator, then that child should not have that opportunity to survive. They were playing God. And frankly, for those of us that saw the consequences of it and appreciate the Indian physicians that went in to put the hospital back together and to treat young mothers, and those educators that went in to try to teach young girls again so that they would have a hope and a place in society, and for those who gave their lives in the struggle to try to bring some measure of stability inside Afghanistan. Listen, our hearts go out to what the people of Afghanistan went through. Our hearts go out to the families of those who made a sacrifice and lost loved ones trying to bring stability back to Afghanistan. But also our hearts go out to those people in South Asia, in Pakistan and India, who are yet to be victims of the graduates of these Deobandi schools, who will go out there again to commit terror, to attack schools, to shoot children, to shoot girls. That's the reality we're living in. And that's what we need to be discussing, because we must find a way to bring pressure to close these schools, have resources expanded into public education, and to give children an honest education and teach them the skills. And then we must look beyond that to the future. We must look to liberalizing trade in order to reduce tensions, in order to give opportunity. There should be more trade between the United States and India and Afghanistan and Pakistan, and all of these governments should be working in concert to create economic opportunity. We should open markets for export, and we should work on a win-win, on a trade agreement with South Asia. And we should encourage those countries to have goods cross borders. What is it that economists say? When goods cross borders, armies don't. But as we do all of that, let's keep in mind our primary objective, bringing peace. And to bring peace, you have to teach peace. You can't teach terror. And we have to have in that a partner with the governments in the region that are willing to teach the children a way forward rather than to teach them hate. Let's all work together on this cooperative endeavor, and we very much appreciate the engagement of India in this effort with Afghanistan and the United States and with the international community and the NGOs. Thank you very much.